Hey everybody, my name is Kalle Slaap, watchmaker from the Netherlands, and I think the question I get the most, no, the question I get the most is, can you do a stream while being drunk? Well, we forget about that question, but the question next I get the most is, can you show us Rolex? The first thing I say, there are so many people who are showing Rolex on a stream, who are so much more knowledgeable than me. But then again, on popular demand, I'm going to do a stream about Rolex, but with a Chronoglide twist. And that is comparing the old to the new, vintage to modern watches. And that's the bit I am interested about, and that is exciting and interesting. Well, Rolex clients are peculiar. It's true, I tell you. Just about 50% of the watches that come in here for restoration, 50% of the clients want them to be polished, and 50% is no polish. Well, the people who would like that polished is the inside is going to be like new when we restore them, so the outside has to be like new. Well, preference. The other way is that the inside is perfect, but the outside, these are my scratches, these are my bumps, and so this makes it my watch, so please don't touch the outside. Well, whatever floats your boat, whatever flicks your switch. We do have a nice collection of Rolexes here, um, by friendly clients. But all the watches that are here in the workshop are defect, disassembled, the same day. So if you want to drop by unannounced and open our safe, well, there are only a handful of screws and parts, so please don't bother, even if you interested in screws and parts. We don't do anything in selling watches, none. And I find it so important because that keeps our advice crystal clear, unclouded. It's not like, well, this watch is really old, but look at our new collection. We are technicians. The thing we love the most is make the inside or keep it original and have it running perfectly again. And now, disclosure. I'm going to show you a full set of beautiful Rolexes and compare the vintage to the new ones. Disclosure. And this is the truth, and people who know me really do know it's the truth. I've been a professional watchmaker for way over 10 years. I am not really into watches. I am passionate about the movement and restoring the movement and the timepiece itself. That is, you can wake me up for that in the middle of the night. That's what I love to do every day, every single day. It's a technical puzzle. There is something wrong. You have to pinpoint where the problem is, deal with it, and have a perfect running movement. But if it's a single red, if it's a lollipop dial, if it's Spiderweb, Wimbledon, Batman, Kermit, Hulk, I wouldn't even recognize it. If it's a red line or a double red, well, we've seen them all over the years here. with respect, but the only thing I care about, if you want your watch polished, that the outside is crisp and the lines are straight and you don't see it is polished, because you can do polishing in an excellent way instead of making everything round, the big potatoes. And what I'm passionate about is a well running movement. And then what kind of hands or the dial or the indexes, I really don't know. We do watches from 200 years old to brand spanking new. We do really high end, and then is Rolex somewhere here, and we do really high end. And we do the Seiko, the normal beater. Why not? We're not snobs, so we repair all watches. And that's why cannot, well, be bothered with every single brand, with every single model over the years. It is just too much. And again, I'm a technician, and for me, that is important. Cheers, everybody. Well, we have a lovely collection here, and I'm going to show you the outside, but I'm going to show you the inside. And why Rolex is this? Well, there are a few reasons why Rolex is this popular and successful. They are the masters in commerce. That is, keep the supply lower than the demand. Simple as that. And this is a positive thing. They are the masters in reliability. A good running watch. And that the only way they reach that goal is to keep the movement as simple as possible and patent protected. So basically, if the simplest solution is just a plate and a screw, that is the Rolex way of doing it. And okay, that keeps it reliable, makes it a good watch. So other brands have to, well, maybe a plate, but two screws, or a plate and another plate and a screw. Things like that. So they are, with a technical cap on, not the most complicated movements to work on. Yeah, and but in great demand, and people all over the world want to own a Rolex. And I have some friends who are luxury watch sellers and the real high end. And I said, how do you do that when people are buying a Rolex? You want to look at the inside, want to know what caliber it is, or what hairspring, or if it's free sprung or not. And they said, people who want a Rolex. And most of the time, we don't even have to open the watch case. They want the Rolex. And maybe that is here in the Netherlands, or their region, or their particular clientele. Maybe it's in the States something else, and they are really have to know every single detail about the inside of the watch. But their experience while selling Rolexes is, most of the time, we don't even have to open them. People want a Rolex, so buy a Rolex. If you have an Audemars Piguet or real high-end stuff, they want to know, or Jaeger LeCoultre or IGG. they want to know every single nook and cranny and see and under the microscope and real discussions about technical ability and stuff. Here it's different. All the watches here are original. I think one of them or two have an not original strap, because that is what the client wants. So hold your horses, no replicas here. And the difference between modern, vintage and modern, and for me that is quite an eye-opener, because the most common Rolex, maybe not in sales, but what we get here is just an Airking, excellent watch of course, but not the top range of Rolex, if I may say so. It is nice and flat and not too big, and it is still elegant. The Submariner for that era was a bit more macho, manly, bigger than the normal one. And for me, this size is still, now you want, of course you want to know the size. I could have done that in advance. That is just around 34. The watch I wear personally is 36 most of the time. Nice, elegant, and then it became bigger and bigger and bigger. And even the older Datejust with a fluted bezel, if you see, this is the vintage. There we go. That is the modern. This one is 36. And the other one, look at the thickness and the height. It's open because I want to show you the inside, because for the first time in quite some time, it is interesting and worthwhile. Let's open that one. It is just so big, and it was bigger and bigger and bigger, and even this is around 40. But like I said, the inside of the watch is the thing we are really passionate about, and that is the old versus the new. And that old vintage is relatively new for what we are doing. See if we can show you the inside, because there finally there's been some, well, innovation, because that is what most watchmakers say about Rolex. It is so conservative from the late 50s until, well, I think about 20 years ago. There was a bit of lack of innovation. So, like I said, they were from kind owners, not all of them are recently restored here in our workshop. But the 3035 is, and here you can see that this pivot has been worn sometime, and then you can see it was sliding against the back, so the rotor moved a bit like this. And what I love about this movement is the free sprung, no timing pins, and the Breguet overcoil. Lovely. This is watchmaking. So, like I said, being passionate about the inside of the movement, that is something we can do. And what dial, what hands. Yeah, sure. Here, the most recent Datejust, 2235. I really want to show you this because this is what get my attention. Free sprung, beautiful finish. Here you can see the circular graining there, and that is just lovely. But this is the star of the show. Look at that. It is beautiful. The escape wheel. There is no need. Well, technically, the escape wheel must move as fast as possible. So it must be as light as possible. Well, you see that there's some oil contamination on the back. Cool. This one just came in for polishing. Must be as light as possible, move as quick as possible. So the weight reduction is a good thing. There, sunburst, circular graining, again sunburst, black polish. So finally some innovation in the movements. Beautiful. Black polish screw heads. This is finally watchmaking where there is some pride. That is lovely. So here the comparison between the old and the new Datejust. Well worth the inside. But now, well, of course we can show the popular Milgauss with the green tinted glass, and the second hand is got an extra well, cage of Faraday inside, because magnetism is the big thing. But I love to show you this one, the Rolex backbreaker. Again, we are fully into the inside of a watch, and I'll show you this movement in a moment. But this is simply so huge, thick, heavy, hernia inspired, but there's a technical thingy what we love. It is quite a complicated watch, even if you don't see it, and even if you don't really notice it. The bezel has got 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. And there, next to the calendar, you see a red dot. Well, 12 markers for the hour, 12 months. So there is an annual calendar here and a GMT function. But okay, if you're an avid traveler, you might enjoy it, but it is complicated to a point that you think, okay, nice that it's got some tricks, but okay. If you fully in love with your Sky-dweller, please enjoy your beautiful watch. It's just a grumpy old man opinion. Let's have a discussion, and you cannot win a discussion, you just can have a discussion. I think it is simply too big, too fat, too clunky, and it's got a beautiful complication. It's overthought. But then again, that's just me. But on the other side, don't burn your watch, it's just my opinion. Look at this. Well, now we're talking, because it is a well-made, beautiful movement. Here you can see it is open, and even from the older Rolexes, that's got a function, because the rotor, which is heavy, which has to be heavy because the weight is winding the movement, because with these openings, even with a shock, it can move slightly like this. Every single thing you see in a watch is there with a purpose. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is there random or just for fun. Well, this is the 9001 movement. Again, beautiful finishing, well made, and complication means a normal timepiece and there is something built on top of it. Date, moon phase, chronograph, whatever. It's just a complication on top of a normal movement. Doesn't really mean it is complicated, but it's just the name of a function on top of the normal movement. And well, it's just underneath the dial. They say it's the most complicated movement they made for a very long time. I do believe that. I love the free sprung. And here the perlage. And I hope you enjoy the inside view of a Rolex instead of just the normal outside and fiddly with the crown stuff. And again, there are streams that that is why it's called the wobbly cam. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, that is the camera. And every time I move my desk or hit my desk, it's called that wobbly cam. Again, I am not into models, types, but I am into movements, and that is why I want to compliment Rolex, because it is an easy sitting duck for verbal abuse of many streamers and owners. But finally there is some pride in watchmaking, in the watch movements, and not just we have a new collection because there is a new strap or a bracelet with a bracelet and dial combination. That is not watchmaking, and that is not a new collection. Or with more diamonds in the bezel. Who cares? This was the most common question on our YouTube channel Chronoglide. Please show us the difference in Rolexes, and then especially vintage and modern. I do hope we succeeded with the older Airking Submariner and the two Datejusts, and one is huge, the modern one, and the smaller vintage one, and the lovely, well, back-breaking Sky-dweller. But again, something new and complications in it, which only can be applauded. This is just my view. Please let me know in your comments what you think of the Rolex and what is your favorite model or what you aspire to, because Rolex in the meantime is so much more than a watch brand. It is an international currency, and that's why now in silly times in the world, they just skyrocket in price and value. And yeah, it is a world in itself, but I only want to show you the technical side of Rolex, which is, well, something else. Really do hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments, and hope to see you soon. See ya. Bye bye.